12 Jason Bournes, looking to beat the cum out of a thick, fresh oak. We smoking filtered crack, you stupid piece of shit. I'll fucking kill you. Call that pussy the Matrix, because I'm in this bitch and I can't get out. Last guy who ran off on the pack got choked out by some Givenchy gloves. The last thing he ever saw was the price tag on them. Slowly faded into darkness, and I let the archangels take him. Yeah. I need more Sequoia Banshee boogers. Don't be shy, girl. I love me some pastrami mud flaps. I'm moving like French Montana. Huh? Welcome to the cream kingdom, bitch. Open up. Black China. I drink her piss out of another man's balls. My shooter a crackhead. He looked like Woody Harrelson. You ain't seen 10 bands in your life, shit. Reach for my neck. You'll get turned into an example. Y'all gotta stop playing with me, man. I threw diamonds at the strip clubs under the Great Pyramids. I pushed the camel through the eye of a needle. This shit ain't nothing to me, man. Tied the ops to the back of a track hawk and dragged him around the block for 24 hours. Motherfucker looked like a Resident Evil 5 campaign extra after we was done with him. Ops wanted some initiative. Blew up their entire quadrant. I'm moving like Oppenheimer. She dropped that ass on me from an egregious angle. They thought I was Stephen Wallace. Top shelf Zaza disrupted my circadian rhythm. I have seen the Magna Carta. I have seen the Eye of Horror. I was flipping bricks for Mansa Musa before y'all even became a Type 1 civilization. This shit ain't nothing to me, you stupid piece of shit. Step the wrong way and you will perish. That pussy feel like Biscoff butter. You think I care about this shit? Ask me if I care about this shit, because I don't give a shit. If I had $1 for every time they said I gave a shit, I'd be broke, because I don't give a shit. My bitch looks like David Hasselhoff. I balled so hard they thought I was a fucking nutsack. This shit ain't nothing to me, man. I'll kill you, you stupid piece of shit. This shit ain't nothing to me, man. Haters and shambles, they stay picking the corn out of my shit. The Smith & Wesson got me moving like an invasive species. I got Midas touch, fuckboy. Bitch so bad I made her shit in my chopped cheese.
I'm not quite sure why I'm here or what I'm doing, but there's a reason. I don't like Facebook, and I don't like the internet. The library blocked my password. Now tell me, does that make any sense to you?
This is absolutely lit. This is lit.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dark Times with Dark Match Steve. I am the twink they refer to as Dark Match Steve. I will be your host for the evening. Get used to it. Learn to love me, because we like to do 2 to 3 hour long streams 5 nights a week. And I'm borderline unbearable. What are we covering tonight? Donald Trump decides to release the Epstein files. Yeah, I'm sure that's on the up and up. I'm sure we can trust what comes out of this. Anyway, we're going to talk about that for a little bit tonight. We probably aren't going to do a long stream. In fact, unless I don't know how we would end up doing clip this, because this is how I start the streams off that go for 3-4 hours. Is I start them off by saying I can't go late, and there's no way we're gonna go 3 hours tonight. But yeah, guys, I got lots of shit going on, and I got to work tomorrow, so we're not gonna be on super late tonight, hopefully, unless I absolutely get carried away with this Epstein coverage. And we have our tendencies, don't we, chat? Here with Dark Times with Dark Matt Steve. Where are we at tonight? Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, also known as X. If you're autistic and addicted to ketamine, you might refer to it as X. So wherever you're at, get in the chat. Lovers, let me get to the chat, say hello to everybody. We'll get started here with some of the shit. I know Scott Starbird was like, oh, I hope Dark Match Steve covers the Candace Owens stuff. No, lovers. We're going to let that cook overnight for a minute. We're going to let Candace Owens, Chef Candace, we're going to let her simmer overnight with that. And yeah, there's a bunch of different stuff I've saved for some of the Candace coverage. Different stuff has happened over the weekend. I don't want to give too much shit away of what I got saved, but yeah, we're going to go probably tomorrow. We're going to go balls deep in that, hopefully impregnate it if we got good swimmers. So yeah, guys, lovers, welcome. Let me get the chat up. There we go. You guys are up on the screen. All right, here we go. Elbows down, lover, welcome. Good to see you. I am the Epstein Files and Charlie Kirk. Wow. Michael Earl, welcome. Bob Cook, Johnny Z, and Bob Cook, Stacy G. Thank you for coming to my mom's celebration of life. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Trying to support your boy DMS during these dark times. They're dark times indeed. But yeah, it's my mom's celebration of life this weekend, Saturday. We did it. It was cool. You know, honestly, the vibe during the whole thing was pretty positive, and wasn't too much crying and stuff. But, you know, things got emotional after it was over and whatever. But it was a good time seeing a bunch of people, everybody that came by, and it was good food. We had a bunch of good food. Pork, which I tried to get Stacy G to eat pork because she's Jewish, and it didn't work. She didn't eat it. But yeah, there was plenty of other food. There's empanadas, crab, empanadas, and fucking all kinds of shit. Little Cuban sandwiches, fucking all kinds of food. It was really good. Thomas Gilson, welcome. Kenny's up in here. Kenny Powers, love ya. Johnny Z. Scott Starbird, lover. My mod's here. That's in case any of you guys get out of hand. We got Scott Starbird here. He will absolutely kick the shit out of you. I got him on patrol. I say just ban. Don't think twice. Just ban first. Ask questions later. Rainy's up in here. Welcome. What's up, you guys? Thanks for coming to hang. Oh, Stacy G's here. What's up, Stacy G? I saw your comment. I didn't reply to it yet, but I saw your comment about missing the Sunday Run Day. Hey, don't worry about it. That's IRL trash streaming. You know, my heart is in the nighttime stream, the dark times with Dark Matt Steve. That IRL streaming, trash content. I just do it to get the watch hours and see what algorithms I can wiggle my way into. What's up, guys? Sorry, I breathed in some pineapple juice. So I've got that going for me. Oh, Dutch Duke's in here. The Duke, ladies and gentlemen, we're in the presence of royalty. Welcome, Dutch Duke. The Duke is in. Eat more coleslaw. Lover, welcome. Thanks for joining us. The final Johnny Cash album was cut really bizarre, but I like it. How so? What do you mean? Which one is his last one? Is that the one with the covers? A bunch of covers on it? Hurt by Nine Inch Nails, and what the fuck else did he cover? There's a few cover songs on that, right? Or is it all cover songs? I know there's more. There's a few. What did I say? What are we laughing about? 8:12. Can't imagine what I said 4 minutes ago. You like the crisis actor hat? Who doesn't? It's so good. It's the best hat I own. Rainey said, pineapple. Does that make giving BJ's taste better? Maybe if you had the pineapple juice in your mouth while you did it, but that seems really complicated. You may as well just suck the dick and not enjoy it, or just not suck it at all instead of trying to keep pineapple juice in your mouth while you suck a dick. I don't know. That's weird. Okay, we're at the bottom of the chat. Thank God. We got the weird questions out of the way. Rainey, please, if you have any more questions, feel free to throw it in the chat. I'll talk about BJ's some more. No, I drink pineapple juice all the time. I like the organic, unfiltered, not from concentrate pineapple juice. I get that from Publix. That shit's pretty good. It's expensive as fuck, though, dude. It's like, I don't know how many ounces that bottle is. It's not that big, and it's like $10. It's ridiculous. It's $10 fucking dollars, and I drink it in like, I could drink it in one night, but I space it out. I make it last like at least 3 days. But yeah, that means my my stuff tastes amazing, I'm sure. My stuff tastes fucking probably as good as cum could taste is how mine tastes. As much fucking pineapple juice as my diet is so good. I'm sure it's like delicious. Good thing I haven't tried it. I'd probably be addicted to it. Okay, so where are we going from here? Should we just talk about blowjobs and screw the people that got tricked into clicking on this video? No, I got some stuff saved. So yeah, let's take a look at some of this shit. Donald Trump, he's done a full 360 now. You know, it was a 180 for a little bit because he campaigned on releasing the Epstein files. Then he did a 180 and said, no, you know what? We're not going to release them. In fact, there aren't any, and you're not my friend if you ask me questions about it anymore. And we were like, wow, that's very much, that's like the most kindergarten, that's the most childish shit that I've ever heard out of a president, but okay, cool. And I guess now he's saying, let's release the files. Look, guys, I kind of thought that eventually he would say to release stuff at this point, and I called this forever ago, so I don't want anybody to be saying, oh, well, yeah, you're moving the goalpost now. No. I established the goalpost way at the beginning, and we're far from it. But yeah, I said this, that, you know, it's just far too suspicious. The timing of everything. I mean, this is probably just some kind of fucking distraction. Quite literally, this could be a distraction from all the fucking heat, all the drama conflama that Candace Owens is getting right now because of her dispensing of anomalous data in regards to the Charlie Kirk assassination. It could quite literally be a distraction from all this. I wouldn't even be surprised if that was actually the plan. But let's take a look at this. Hold on, let's see. So I know Scott Starbird, he played this on his show, and I No offense, but I muted it right then because I didn't want to. I hadn't seen the whole clip yet. I wanted to see exactly how Trump laid it out at one time and live on the stream, so we can get into it together. Let me see here. Okay, good. It took me to a different. Okay, I like this tweet here. This guy, this person kind of sums it up here. So the Epstein files exist, but they don't exist because it's all a hoax, and anyone asking for their release is actually a bad person, and Trump doesn't want or need their support anymore, even though Trump himself is now requesting their release because he has nothing to hide, but he doesn't want you to stop talking about it, but also ask Bill Clinton about it because the files are on Bondi's desk ready to be released tomorrow back in February, but it's just phase one, even though there's no phase two, and hey, some binders, and thanks to Dan Bongino, we can confirm Epstein did indeed off himself because 10 hours of some clear as day enhanced footage of a door that wasn't his cell with a few missing minutes proved it. Case closed. Yeah, I don't feel insulted at all by any of this. Wow. No, it's totally cool. Trump can just do whatever he wants. I don't care. I don't feel like I got slapped in the face at all. No big deal. All right, so let's look at the Trump clip here. And I got to hit my bowl about 10 more times. Okay, this was posted by Nick Sorter. Breaking. President Trump confirms he would sign the Epstein File Transparency Act into law if it passes Congress. That's a big if, isn't it? We have nothing to do with the Epstein. The Democrats do. All his friends were Dems. Sorry. A vote on releasing the files is set for this week after Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna successfully gathered 218 signers to force a floor vote. I just don't. I'm sorry. I want to have like faith that maybe there's some something redeemable with Trump and all this and stuff. I don't know. I think I'm too black-pilled on the Epstein stuff to believe anything now. Maybe that's what they wanted from the beginning. We're all just in a constant, unfixable state of utter confusion through this whole fucking thing. And it gets to the point where you just go, all right, well, whatever they say, I don't believe. So whether I get the info I want or I don't, I'm not going to believe it anymore. And so, like, I don't know if that's beneficial to them or not, but that's where I'm at. Let me enlarge this. Let's take a listen.
Nothing to do with Epstein. Here's what I want. We have nothing to do with Epstein. The Democrats do.
Except for the fact that, the prosecutors credited you for helping to bust Epstein and you kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago, and it had to do with Virginia Giuffre and Ghislaine Maxwell as well. But he has nothing to do with Epstein, never did, never do it again.
All of his friends were Democrats. You look at this Reid Hoffman.
That's true. To be fair, Trump just said all Epstein's friends were Democrats. And to be fair, he's right. Because Donald Trump was a Democrat when they were hanging out together. That's very true.
Look at Larry Summers, Bill Clinton. They went to his island all the time. And many others are all Democrats. All I want for people to recognize a great job that I've done on pricing, on affordability, because we brought prices way down, but they're going way lower, on energy, on ending 8 wars and another one coming pretty soon, I believe. We've done a great job.
Wait, ending 8 wars and another one coming. Let's hope by another one coming, he means ending another one and not that there's another war coming. because that could be the case. Oh, Javi's up in here. What's up, Javi and Sergio? What's up? What's up? Ready for the Edge Fest, lover. Yeah, we're not doing. We normally have the standard 2 to 3 hour Edge Fest that is this live stream 5 nights a week, but tonight we're gonna try to keep it under 2 hours. Hate to disappoint you. I will drain you though. Okay, but it's just gonna be a quicker. It's gonna be a quicker thing. Oh, Javi says it's a distraction. Oh, I see. You corrected yourself here. I was confused for a second. It's a distraction from Venezuela, about to be Afghanistan 2.0. The entire, hold on a second. Oh, damn it. It moved again. Oh, that was Adam Wiley, lover. What's up, lover? Welcome over on the Twitter. Adam Wiley watches from the Twitter. I'm not sure if Scott Starbird banned him from my chat too, because he's so unhinged. I didn't ask for that. But, I can't blame him. Adam, I love you. I'm just playing, lover. Hold on. Entire cast of Home Alone 2 were Democrats, except for Cedric. That's funny. Was it the second one? I guess that's right. The second Home Alone was the one with Trump. I don't remember that well. I don't remember which is which.
And I hate to see that deflect from the great job we've done. So I'm all for it. We've already given 50,000 pages. You do know that. Unfortunately, like with the Kennedy situation, with the Martin Luther King situation, not to put Jeffrey Epstein in the same category, but no matter what we give, it's never enough. With Kennedy, we gave everything and it wasn't enough. With Martin Luther King, we gave everything and it's never enough. We've already given, I believe the number is 50,000 pages, 50,000 pages. And it's just a Russia hoax as it pertains to the Republicans. Now, I believe that some of the people that we mentioned are being
50,000 pages, but what? Do I remember correctly? Or, there was still redacted stuff, right? And then you guys told us that we were going to have the whole goddamn, however many hours it was, the goddamn surveillance footage. And that it would be, this is the thing, guys. This is the thing. They told us, Dan Bongino told us that the video would be pretty much indisputable evidence that he offed himself, that he wasn't murdered. Okay? The footage is edited and there's minutes missing from it. I don't know what else you need to what else you need to be told to just stop trusting this. I can't, if that doesn't tell you we're never going to know the truth, I don't know what will. I don't know. These guys are just going to straight up ruin their reputations over not releasing, not giving us what they told us they were going to give us. It's it's got to be bad, right? Rainey said, this is the thing, guys, all full of shit. Oh, look, it's Susie Israel. No one's called you that since middle school? Same. He sounds like he's been drinking the RFK magic elixir. That's the methylene blue. I think that's what these guys are drinking these days, is methylene blue.
Looked at very seriously for their relationship to Jeffrey Epstein, but they were with him all the time. I wasn't at all. And we'll see what happens. What I just don't want Epstein to do is detract from the great success of the Republican Party.
Well, if it turns out in the files that you were butt fucking little kids, that's definitely going to take away from it. I hate to tell you that, but that's just how that works.
Including the fact that the Democrats are totally blamed for the shutdown. You know, they cost our country hundreds of billions of dollars with that, at a lot of inconvenience. So I'm for any. I don't. They can do whatever they want. We'll give them everything. Sure, I would. Let the Senate look at it. Let anybody look at it. But don't talk about it too much because honestly, I don't want to take it away from us. It's really a Democrat problem. The Democrats were Epstein's friends, all of them. And it's a hoax. The whole thing is a hoax. And I don't want to take it away from really the greatness of what the Republican Party has accomplished over the last period of time.
Is Steve Bannon a Democrat? Because it turns out he was like good friends with Epstein, right? I know Scott Starbird mentioned this on his stream too. And that's like the that was one of the curious things about seeing these emails. And so Scott was saying that apparently Stephen Bannon was talking to Epstein like almost daily or something. Like they were probably a lot closer than people really had the impression of at first. But my eyebrow raised when I was reading through some of what's been released, the emails and the shit with Stephen Bannon. And I was just like, this seems weird. I don't know why. I didn't think like the impression I got from them chatting back and forth a little bit that I read, and it wasn't much, but I got the impression that they were like buddies. And that is, bro, this whole fucking thing is weird, man. I just like, if it isn't clear, I feel like from people's behavior, if you were ever on the fence, you know, I know there's a lot of people that are, and it's mostly people paid off by Israel, probably, that are full of shit, who are questioning now, saying, you know, it probably wasn't really, we need to just let it go. It probably wasn't really like a blackmail ring. It was, Pam Bondi saying is just Jeffrey Epstein with a bunch of, CP videos that he downloaded, the tens of thousands of videos that we said we had on people. Oh, it turns out it's just Jeffrey Epstein's personal spank bank of stuff he just randomly downloaded from the internet or whatever. And so it might actually be nothing. If it's not clear by how like suspicious just them explaining everything, if that's not clear enough, it should be clear just the way that everyone's been acting about this, going back and forth. The Democrats, Joe Biden could have released all this shit. Bro, if Kamal, I've said this before, you could have actually, I was so on the fence this last time, you could have actually gotten me to vote for Kamala Harris had she gone out there and said, look, we are going to release the Epstein files. And we didn't do it during Joe Biden's administration, his prior one, because of whatever, make up some bullshit. And we were gathering all the information. There's a lot of different stuff in there. And, we wanted to make sure that we could actually release it before we made that promise to you. We will actually release it. And Donald Trump is in there. You would have my vote so fucking quick. If Donald Trump did not have like the best meme magic response to that, that would be a guarantee of my vote right there. But we didn't get it. And then now that Trump is in office, all the Democrats are going, of course he's in it. Of course he doesn't want to release it because he's in it. We should release it. Well, you didn't hear anyone fucking talking like that when the Democrats were, in office. When Biden was in there, everybody was real like, oh, God, Epstein who? Oh, yeah, I don't know. I think Trump was friends with him. Blah, 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 blah. It's just all disappointing. That goes to show you there. That should be like clear evidence that this is actually like some blackmail scheme that involves Israel and the CIA And that's why everyone's acting so fucking weird about it, acting like they have stuff on each other, and they do. They do. At least I think so. All right, let me pull this up. So let's just say someone put together, this is one of these videos I saved is Pam Bondi. And here, it just goes to show you how things have evolved. All right, hold on. I want to get you. Yeah, you're. Twitter does this. Yeah, so the Twitter updates, one of the things that it does now is if you are using, among the other things that people have complained about, when you are using, I don't know about the mobile version doesn't work like this. I know that. But if you're using the standard version of Twitter off your laptop or whatever, and you click on a tweet, like if someone sends you a DM, you're on Twitter, someone sends you a direct message that is a tweet, it will open another tab. It didn't used to do that. Now I have to switch tabs every time I go to show you guys something on Twitter. It's bullshit. You hear me, Elon Musk? We're live on Twitter right now. Are you hearing this? It's a pain in the ass. You fucked this up, but one of your people did. Okay, hold on. What does the caption say? Went from Epstein with children to Epstein downloading CP. Yes. So here, what I'm just reminding you guys how things have changed, and how, this is part of me building my case, or at least explaining my position of why I have no faith in anything that's going to get released at this point, because it's just like everything's just subtly, slowly changing to where it's all fucking meaningless. Oh, there was nobody else was involved. Oh yeah, there was that one person, Virginia Giuffre. She accused Prince Andrew, but she offed herself after getting hit by a bus suspiciously. So you can't trust what she said. She was unstable.
There are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn, and there are hundreds of victims, and no one victim will ever get released. It's just the volume, and that's what they're going through. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein.
Does that not... Can you guys see this too? How fake this fucking bitch is? Pam Bondi is even more fraudulent and fake than Erica Kirk, in my opinion. Now, I haven't seen Pam Bondi try to fake cry. That would probably be the decision maker right there, if we're being fair. But Pam Bondi, this just like, do you guys hear this delivery? Do you guys hear this delivery where it's like, this sounds like someone who is desperate to shift blame. She's like, oh yeah, so those tens of thousands of videos that you guys were frothing at the mouth because you knew damn well it's world leaders and fucking CEOs, bankers, and fucking high up tech people, actors, and you just know all those people are in these videos. Well, it turns out, guys, it was just that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. You all know how gross he was. You all know he was into weird stuff. Well, it turns out, guys, all the blame goes on to him. And we have no responsibility to investigate or fucking, do anything else with this at all, because it was all just Jeffrey Epstein jerking off. That's all it was. He never even hurt a kid. It was just him jerking off all alone on his island. Can you believe it? How nasty. So disgusting. What a terrible, terrible, degenerate human being that Jeffrey Epstein was. And thank God he's dead. And we can move on from this. Fuck. I'm emotionally unstable dealing with these Epstein stuff. I'm done, guys. I'm not covering this anymore. I'm done. Donald Trump killed my hopes and dreams of thinking we could actually get some names. You know what names I want to see, guys? I want to see John Podesta's name. Okay, let me see. Oh, Big E's up in here. What's up, Big E? Or wait, were you in here before? I don't know. Welcome, lover. Good to see you. Truth is unbreakable. What is this? Prop me up beside on APAC podium when I die. Is that a parody song idea that you're throwing at me right there? What song is that? To the tune of what, lover? Okay, let's here, let me drop this. Go there. God damn, Twitter, you really fucked me up, huh? Twitter over here pushing my shit in. Okay, let's read this full tweet here. Let's read this. This is from Truth Social. I guess Donald Trump is still over there pretending that other people give a shit about Truth Social and not Twitter. I don't know. Here we go. So this just in. Trump says release the Epstein files because we have nothing to hide. Also, the wording for me is can I just be observant here and say, is that wording also not like a Freudian slip? Like an unintended, this whole time that they didn't want to release the files, was there something to hide? And now there isn't. So we're going to release them. Do you understand why this, like, you're like testing the logic throughout this whole drama since Trump has been in office with the Epstein files? And he's saying here his reasoning. Why should we release it? Oh, well, you know what? Because we have nothing to hide. Well, like, what about this whole fucking time? You've been saying to not release them and that it's a hoax. I feel like now there's nothing to hide. Chody over here. What's up in the chat, brother? I think this is a new person. What's up? Welcome. He's not releasing them. Congress is voting to release them. He could release them right now if he wanted to, hence why Congress is having to force the matter. Bro, I know this is just I'm disappointed by all this. I really am. I chose to cover this tonight, and I wanted to, play the clip and talk about, a few of the things that are, floating around today. But it's like, this is honestly depressing for me to talk about every time. I mean, though I've been covering this as it's been developing, I've only been streaming for a little bit over a year. And this is just so fucking disappointing, man. And I voted for Trump. I'm not a Trump hater. I wanted to be so proud of him. And this whole I'm just so disappointed across the board. And I don't even like to say that. I'm not somebody that's like a hater. I'm just being real. I don't know. I'm disappointed. Fucking all right, let's see. We got some highlighted shit here. Okay, let's read his truth post. This is Donald Trump. As I said on Friday night aboard Air Force One to the fake news media, House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files because we have nothing to hide. And it's time to move on from this Democrat hoax perpetrated by radical left lunatics in order to deflect from the great success of the Republican Party. I mean, guys, if we're being honest with ourselves, is it not still come on? Dude, you perpetrated this. You echoed this to your whole base. about, oh, the Epstein files, be a shame if all the info came out from those Epstein. I heard a lot of bad stuff happened on that island. Da 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 da. All the shit you talked for years, and you're still right. This is why I'm worried that he's compromised in it, because you're still, even when saying we're gonna release him, you're still saying that it's a radical left conspiracy theory. Bro, you were the one spreading it. How am I supposed to feel secure with what they're going to release? How am I supposed to be able to trust it at all when this fucking idiot is still pretending like this is some conspiracy that Hillary Clinton made up? It's just so dumb. I swear to God, Trump better pull some like crazy shit before his 4 years are over. Like in a good way. I pray that this is some kind of like 5D chess that I could never even comprehend. But I just do not have faith in that at all. Okay, so let's keep reading it. Lunatics are ordered to deflect the great success of the Republican Party, including our recent victory on the Democrat shutdown. The Department of Justice has already turned over tens of thousands of pages to the public on Epstein, are looking at various Democrat operatives, Bill Clinton, Reid Hoffman, Larry Summers, etc., and their relationship to Epstein. And the House Oversight Committee can have whatever they are legally entitled to. I don't care. All I do care about is that Republicans get back on point taking that Israel money, which is the economy, affordability, where we are winning big. Our victory on reducing inflation from the highest level in history to practically nothing, bringing down prices for the American people, delivering historic tax cuts, gaining trillions of dollars of investment into America, a record, the rebuilding of our military, securing our border, deporting criminal illegal aliens, ending men and women's sports, stopping transgender for everyone. What the fuck does that mean? Stopping transgender for everyone. We're just going to stop all trans stuff. And so much more. Nobody cared about Jeffrey Epstein when he was alive, and that is bullshit. That is bullshit. If the Democrats had anything, they would have released it before our landslide election victory. That is, of course, unless there's bad stuff on them in there too. So cool. Wow, guys, things are looking really optimistic, are they not? Okay. Here, let me drop that. I got to go back here anyway. It's just going to take me all over the place with these fucking tabs. Jesse on Fire had some, hold on a second. Did I save it? I think I did. Oh, I reposted it too. Hold on. Here we go. Didn't I? I don't remember what I was intrigued with on this, but Jesse on Fire, we've covered him. He debated Destiny, and we covered that debate on my channel. He didn't do that great against Destiny, but the guy's not an idiot. Okay, he's not a skilled enough, like seasoned debater enough to like deal with Destiny, and few are. But yeah, some of the shit on that he's been sharing lately has been pretty based. Let me see what this is.
The way he's behaving about the vote to release the Epstein files is like, I don't even know how else to like present it other than to say he looks like a guy who has crumbs of cookies all over his body, and he's going to his mom. He's all, my brother stole the cookies, not me. It's like, oh, is that right? That's how he's behaving. But on these particular emails, the closer that you look at them, the less damning it looks to me. And it actually supports a lot of things that Trump has said previously. This is April 2nd, 2011. This is an email from Ghislaine Maxwell to Jeffrey Epstein. The original one was from Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell, which says the following: I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. And this victim that's been blocked out is Virginia Giuffre. Virginia Giuffre spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc. I'm 75% there. Now, the wording of that is very interesting to me, right? I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Okay? He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc. I'm 75% there. So the indication that it sounds like to me is they are speculating about what Trump may have said and to who, right? Now, the only reason that I initially thought is he's speculating or she's speculating about whether or not he had spoken to police is because he actually mentions the police chief. And then he says, I'm 75% there. Here's a real serious question that I'm going to answer for you right now. Why were they talking about this right now? And why is it not included in this release? Like, what are they referencing? They're 75% there about what? Okay.
So he's establishing, I remember why I pulled this up. He kind of establishes a timeline here. So yeah, this is interesting.
Here's the answer. Okay. Look at the date right here. This is 4/2/2011, right? What could have possibly prompted this interaction? And here is your answer. Okay. This is an article. Look right there. March 2nd, 2011. Almost exactly a month prior to them having this conversation is the very first time that Virginia Giuffre goes public in the media. Okay. And this is all about, she reveals that she is Jane Doe 102 in the Epstein case. Okay. And this was all about the first expose of what had, subsequently come out. And honestly,
she's Jane Doe 102. Which means there's at least 101 other Jane Does that apparently Jeffrey Epstein never victimized because he only had tens of thousands of videos of random CP that he found on the internet. And there are no victims and, it's all a hoax. I mean, sure.
There was a lot in this article where I was like, wow, this level of detail had been out for this long, because it seemed like a lot of stuff came out. And then when they would talk about her later, she was pretty cagey about who she'd seen and who she hadn't, so on and so forth. And so this is for sure what they're referencing. They're seeing who's been talking.
The dog that hasn't barked, woof, woof. Them dogs are barking. Here, let me see what this other... because I saw the clip that I saved. It's a different one, but I think he's talking about the same thing. Bear with me here. Let me see. Okay, they're talking. I saw there's another clip of him talking to somebody else about it. I'm not going to play that. It's a waste of time. It's the same thing, really. I think. Here, let me get rid of that. So, here's the victim video. I saw a few people reposting this. I wanted to share it. Hold on. The survivors. They survived. Where am I?
I suffered so much pain.
So much pain.
So much pain.
I suffered so much pain.
Bro, how the fuck this guy had all these goddamn cameras at his house and stuff? I just don't, how do you, I'm actually baffled. Someone should ask, why has nobody held Pam Bondi's feet to the fire or has somebody and I haven't seen the clip, how do you reconcile all these fucking different, like, the president is saying this, that's just a whole hoax. And then yet we have all these victims. Epstein was in prison. The Prince Andrew story, which Donald Trump himself referenced in his whole campaign of teasing us with the thought of getting the list. How do you reconcile all these things? Like, it actually makes no fucking sense, and I'm over it.
I was 14 years old.
I was 16 years old. I was 16.
17.
14 years old.
This is me.
This was me.
This is me.
When I met Jeffrey Epstein.
This is me when I met Jeffrey Epstein.
There are about 1,000 of us.
It's time to bring this.
But there's 1,000 of them, but it's a hoax. This is all a hoax right here.
Secrets out of the shadows. It's time to shine a light into the darkness.
Well, that's promising. They all seem broken and needy. You would be too if you were forced to suck on an egg-shaped dick. That's something that'll probably scar you for life. An egg-shaped penis? I've never even heard such a thing. I've only heard of one penis described as egg-shaped, and that's Jeffrey Epstein's, and that is terrifying. Also, you know what's even more fucking disgusting? Is the way people describe Harvey Weinstein's penis. That is terrifying. They're basically like, I don't know who was described. I remember hearing it be described as like, there was open sores and like it was like a zombie dick or something. Like it was kind of fucked up looking, and like he had bad diabetes or something. So, you know, he had like a wound that like never healed, or it was like something like that. Like it sounded like absolutely terrifying. But look, if you want to, the Weinstein situation, I think is different. When, you know, it's I mean, as long as they're above age as well, it's a woman who is, you know, doing probably what she does best, because if she was a really good actor, she would have just been able to make it on that alone. A woman who is exchanging a sexual favor for a role in a movie, and I'm supposed to feel like, you know, as sorry for you as the Epstein girls or something who were minors and getting like trafficked around. I don't know. I mean, what the hell? I never even got offered a producer's penis to get any kind of leg up in any kind of industry. I wasn't even offered the right kind of dick to suck. They were offered the dick and they took the offer. AMC penis. I was not offered that penis. Liver spots on his junk? Yeah, something like that. I remember it. That sounds horrifying. Liver spots. Oh God, that is nasty. All right, here, let's play this Tim Pool clip. Oh, see, well, I got to get you guys on a different tab now because of the Twitter update. Thank you, Elon. Epstein, deep state, working with deep state politicians to go after Donald Trump. According to the Washington Post, Jeffrey Epstein was colluding with Democrats to obtain testimony in an attempt to destroy Donald Trump. Yeah, that's what some of those emails sounded like. Bro, I don't fucking know. I really don't know, man. This whole thing is so fucking nuts. It's like you see this kind of shit and it makes you think like maybe my thing is I really don't like being insulted with someone talking down to me about honestly being concerned that a human trafficker blackmail ring is pulling levers within my own country, levers of power within my own country. That's concerning. I don't like someone talking down to me and say, well, if you are worried about that, you're part of the problem. Yeah, gee, thanks. No, it's you and your rich fucking friends. So, I just like Donald Trump's been acting so sketchy with all this. But it's like there are still there's like in my head, and this is unfortunate because it makes it harder for me to just say, okay, fuck Trump completely, fuck that guy. There's still like plausible deniability with all this. It's so like this is all still so shady and shadowy that you just can't quite get a grasp. So you can't exactly put your finger on anybody. It's fucked up. But it's like, yeah, there still are hints of like, okay, maybe there's some other reason that Trump is wanting to hide some of this info in the Epstein files. It might not be that he did something to some kid or he's like compromised in that sense. It might be that there's people in there that are fucked. Got trapped, honeypotted in this blackmail scheme, and their reputations are at risk, and there are probably various reasons that Trump is not releasing all of that just out to the public. But it's just like he makes it so difficult to defend him. I'm praying there's a logical reason for him to be talking like this, to be saying, oh yeah, it's all a hoax and my best friend is Netanyahu. I'm hoping there's some 4D chess reason that he is being the sketchiest as he could possibly be in handling the Epstein files.
This is crazy. Look at this video from the New York Times. This is nuts. This is absolutely wild. Newly released documents show during the hearing, Epstein was giving advice to the Democrats to go after Trump. The Post reviewed multiple video feeds from the hearing that matched the texts.
Obama was president of the United States. And while we were once driving through...
What the fuck? Okay, I was going to say, we went over this the other night, but they actually found the clips with them reading what Epstein told them to say. That is fucking nuts.
A struggling neighborhood in Chicago. He commented that only black people could live that way. Attorney-client privilege, yes, I will turn it over.
You, as my friend Mr. Meadows pointed out, misled this committee even today in a written submission that contradicted your testimony. You have suggested you are going to review that. Did you review? Are you going to review it in our next break to correct the record? Yes or no?
Yes.
Question, you helped out the president's campaign or were involved in the campaign as a representative, as a spokesman, even in your words today. It was your idea for the campaign dating back to 2011. Is that accurate? Yes or no?
Yes.
So in this video, you can see
Mr. Weisenberg and other individuals, Ms. Rona. Who are those individuals? Are they with the Trump organization?
They are.
Are there other people that we should be meeting with?
So Alan Weisselberg is the chief financial officer.
And there's Cohen.
This is massive, ladies and gentlemen. This just scratches the surface. But if this rabbit hole goes deeper, what we have is false allegations against Donald Trump, a criminal case that ultimately was brought forward for the first time in history with no unanimously decided upon crime Trump was attempting to commit. That is, it's complicated. And I have since corrected the record, though I'd call myself half wrong. The story is, as it pertains to the falsification of business records, for which this question is about in this testimony, the jury did not unanimously decide that Trump was actually trying to commit any particular crime. Just that maybe there was some crime somewhere. It's never happened before that they've done this. And the only reason they did was because the charges against Trump, misdemeanor at best. Jeffrey Epstein, according to the Washington Post, was colluding with the Democrat to get this testimony, which ultimately led to a fake conviction. Sounds to me, ladies and gentlemen, we have a strong probability, should this rabbit hole go deep, Epstein, deep state, working with deep state politicians to go after Donald Trump.
That is fucking nuts. Scott said maybe Trump was covering for Israel and he's mad at them for not stopping journalists from trying to impact him, so he'll let Israel get exposed. Oh, Bart Hutchison, what's up, lover? Welcome, welcome. Bro, this is so fucking sketchy. Let's see the latest. CNN isn't my go-to, but this is 30 minutes ago. Let me see. Let me get you guys on this tab with me. What does this say? Trump administration news. President said he'd sign bill to release Epstein files. Well, they're on Pam Bondi's desk. I mean, he could just walk over to her and grab them off her fucking desk and put the fucking screenshots on Truth Social himself. If he wanted to, that's what he would do.
Here we are in Houston, opening up our first veteran village. This beautiful building that's going to house 161 homeless.
Fuck you, fuck your village.
Veterans. Any veteran that risked their lives and are struggling with PTSD, mental illness.
I support the veterans, though.
Addiction. We also building what I call comfort homes, 500 square foot homes. These are for older homeless veterans, so they have their own space and give them back some of their dignity, some of their.
Bro, no way. Is this a...
independence, and most certainly giving back their life.
I thought it said this is a 1 minute and 5 seconds left of this fucking ad.
Go to T2T.org to learn how you can
Thank
change
God.
a veteran's life forever.
Forever.
Former House Speaker John Boehner liked to
Learn how you can change a veteran's life forever.
say, a leader without followers is just a guy taking a walk. And President Trump decided last night he didn't want to be a guy just taking a walk. So after months of digging in, aggressively lobbying rank and file Republicans, President Trump bowed to the inevitable and flipped, posting, quote, House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files because we have nothing to hide. I don't care. Now, the vote is expected to take place in the House tomorrow. The Epstein files have certainly fractured the MAGA movement and turned President Trump against one of his most loyal supporters.
No. That wasn't the Epstein files. It's all Candace Owens' fault.
Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Trump bears no responsibility for the fracturing of his own base. It's all Candace Owens. She's so powerful.
I spoke to her exclusively on State of the Union. What do you think happened? What do you think is the reason for this?
Unfortunately, it has all come down to the Epstein files, and that is shocking. And, I stand with these women.
I'm joined by a terrific group of reporters here on this fine Monday. Manu Raju, it is going to be in your lap
Hold on. I was on another tab for a second. Did it really just end that abruptly? How awkward. I have to watch that again. Hold on.
For this.
Unfortunately, it has all come down to the Epstein files, and that is shocking. And, you know, I stand with these women.
I'm joined by a terrific group of reporters here on this fine Monday. Manu Raju, it is going
That's it.
to be in your lap
Yes.
in the House of
As
Representatives.
things often happen in the Capitol.
It is funny how that works. First of all,
He said the files were on the UPS plane that went up in flames. That might be it. That's what happened.
based on what you've heard from your sources on the Hill, what is your sense of how and why this presidential flip happened?
It seems to be that he saw the writing on the wall, and this has just been a remarkable 180. I mean, this is probably, I can't think of another time in which Congress has bucked the president, Republicans, and forced the president along to do what they want, despite this months-long pressure campaign, despite Trump trying to kill this bill, prevent this effort from coming to the floor, the Speaker of the House taking all sorts of actions to try to deny this vote from even happening. And then they were forced, their hands were forced because they used this maneuver to force a vote on the House floor. And then, look, I was hearing mid to late last week, we were expecting scores of House Republicans to vote for this. I had talked to a wide cross sections of House Republicans, conservatives, moderates, people from swing districts. They all were saying they were going to vote yes, which, and I talked to some leadership sources who are saying it is very possible they could get a veto-proof majority in the House. So Trump saw what was happening here. He could not stop this train and decided to jump on this bandwagon rather than try to step in front of it, because he could have endured a really humiliating outcomes.
Bro. Dude, I just don't know about that. Trump pressured? You think Trump got pressured into doing this? And it's not that they just redacted all the stuff they needed to redact. Again, I'm not directly saying that what they're redacting is Trump's name from any kind of wrongdoing, and I don't know. This just does not pass the sniff test at all. Hold on. So Piers Morgan. Oh my God. Okay. Why does it say Bubba? Who is okay? Let's watch this for a minute, guys. And I can go, this is an hour long. I'll play it a little quicker, and we'll probably won't watch the whole thing. But Piers Morgan released this like 5 hours ago, and they discussed the Epstein stuff in here. And who are they referring to as Bubba? Is there a different Bubba that's involved in this? Because I saw the name Bubba pop up in some other tweet, and I didn't have time to look into what the fuck they were talking about, and I just saw this pop up on the Piers Morgan video.
Make the memories. Bring home a Bob Evans.
Life, you really think large?
Hold on, let's start this over. What the fuck they're talking about? Ask him if Putin has the photos of Trump blowing Bubba. Who is Bubba? That's Bill Clinton? Oh, that makes sense. What the fuck? Ew, they called him Bubba? Bill Clinton is not fat enough to be called Bubba, let me tell you. That is a joke.
Obviously, there's the infamous Bubba email, whatever that means. I don't know why people aren't talking about that more. If Donald Trump had blown some guy.
Is Bubba the Love Sponge? Did Donald Trump suck off Bubba the Love Sponge? Is that what we're learning? That's how I want to interpret this. Let's keep going. Lock in, chat.
And they had an email. They would at least leak that email.
We know a lot about Bill Clinton's sex life. Do you really think large blonde men, that's Bubba's type? I don't think so.
Somebody else is running our government. Who ran this horrible scheme? There's no question Epstein was working with Israel.
The optics, the gold, the opulence that
Based. What's his name? Based Chank.
he surrounds himself in puts on full display that this guy does not give a flying fuck about the people that he pandered to on the campaign trail, and his priority is solely himself.
He's not worried about 3 months from now or 2 months from now. He's worried about next week. I think that's the move until they can come up with another distraction, perhaps killing more people off of the coast of Venezuela.
You know, Marjorie Taylor Greene has changed her position on so many different things. She just apologized on CNN and said she's sorry for contributing to the rhetoric. That is insane to me. This is why he called her a traitor. This is why people think that she's changed. This has come down to Israel.
Lawmakers could vote as soon as tomorrow on a bill to release the Epstein files in full, and it now seems certain that it will pass. President Trump has given Republicans.
Do you guys see where? So I had no idea what was in this Piers Morgan video. Do you guys see where it's not my fault that Israel gets brought up on this stream almost nightly? You guys see where that's not my fault? Where I'm just showing you guys the news, okay? And then sometimes we throw in like a random funny, badge cam review stream and whatever cultural kind of stuff. But it's just like I can't even just cover the regular news without Israel getting brought up. It's not like I'm trying to talk about them. Okay? Do you get where it's like that's proof that they're overrepresented in some things. Why do they get brought up like so much on this stream? And we're just covering like not even like crazy extremist kind of topics or anything, and they just get brought into this. Jay, what was your name? Jay Sands. Welcome. How's it going? I think this is a new person. What's up? Welcome, Jay Sands, in the chat, lovers. If the Epstein files don't come out, the estate will release more damaging information for sure. I want to see whatever, but yeah, man, I don't know. I at this point, I kind of don't trust. You really have to be careful with whatever gets released at this point. As we saw, I mean, look, if we're just, I don't trust Trump, but if we're calling it like we're seeing it, the Democrats definitely released those emails to make it seem like it was some other victim besides Virginia Giuffre, and it just sounded so bad if you thought that was a different woman, that they were talking about Trump being with her and stuff. It's just sort of like a thing. So you got to be careful with any of this stuff that gets released now and how it's being used and what's fucking redacted. We have to really fucking be careful with any of it. But yeah, I don't know. At this point, look, whoever, I'll thank whoever for releasing whatever info, but the way Trump's been acting is so fucking sketchy. I don't trust any of it. I just don't. I don't believe for a second these goddamn talking heads being like, well, you see here, well, it makes perfect sense. Donald Trump pressured by this and that. I don't believe it.
Gives the green light to vote for full disclosure, announcing on Truth Social last night that, quotes, we have nothing to hide. Only last week, he summoned Lauren Boebert to the Situation Room, no less, in a frantic push.
We're on 1.5 speed, lovers. You'll get used to it in a second. Let's get through some of this.
To persuade Republicans to vote no. So what's changed? Well, first, Democrats have been selectively drip-feeding Epstein's emails to the media with their own spin. Second, it's becoming increasingly clear that the Epstein files are a bipartisan outrage. Everyone from Michael Wolff to Larry Summers, Peter Thiel, and even Noam Chomsky remained in contact with Epstein after his first conviction. One Democrat lawmaker even appeared to be coached through a congressional impeachment hearing by the pedophile, as illustrated by the Washington Post.
Attorney-client privilege, yes, I will turn it over.
You, as my friend Mr. Meadows pointed out, misled this committee even today in a written submission that contradicted your...
And do we also see, let's keep everything in context here. I mean, this also, considering what Piers just said, this doesn't look good. What about the email? I haven't heard anything else about it, like verifying that it's actually true. But according to Epstein, Donald Trump was with him on Thanksgiving after Epstein did get convicted. He got in trouble for the weird stuff. and I think it was 2017 or whatever. That's fucking weird. But then you consider all the other people. He just mentioned Peter Thiel being close with Epstein. And that's like Trump's buddy right now. He's going to let Palantir take all of our data and build profiles on us.
For testimony, you have suggested you were going to review that. Did you review? Are you going to review it in our next break to correct the record? Yes or no?
Yes.
Question: you helped out the president's campaign, or were involved in the campaign as a representative, as a spokesman. Even in your words today, it was your idea for the campaign dating back to 2011. Is that accurate? Yes or no?
Yes.
Mr. Weisenberg and other individuals, Ms. Rona. Who are those individuals? Are they with the Trump?
Yeah, so Scott Starboard said, hold on a second. None of these leaked emails hurt Trump whatsoever. His staff probably leaked them. Isn't that what people theorized about that? Remember when tax records, that was the thing? People were bitching about Donald Trump not releasing his tax records. That was like there's a big fuss about that. And people thought that was actually a setup because then they got leaked and it showed that Donald Trump paid more tax, like the what got leaked, not all of his records, but what got leaked showed that he paid more taxes than like Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren and stuff. More percentage, not just more total, more percentage.
Organization.
So people thought it was like a setup. There was there's a bunch of drama, and then some people were theorizing that Trump's own people released that shit. Remember?
Media with their own spin. Second, it's becoming increasingly clear that the Epstein files are a bipartisan outrage. Everyone from Michael Wolff to Larry Summers, Peter Thiel, and even Noam Chomsky.
Bro, that's what, yes, fucking Jay Sands, bro, transparency. That's what we fucking voted for. That's what we thought we'd get. And I feel like no matter what information gets released at this point, it's not transparency. That's the thing here. We're not getting transparency. We're getting stuff trickled out that is being used to, for another agenda. That's like what we're getting. That's why it's a slap in the face, kind of. No matter what gets released, it's too late. We've all opened our eyes. We can tell we're in this weird fucking shadowy deep state, a spider web, and it's not transparency.
Chomsky remained in contact with Epstein after his first conviction. One Democrat lawmaker even appeared to be coached.
That's how I see it anyway.
For a congressional impeachment hearing by the pedophile, as illustrated by the Washington Post.
Attorney-client privilege, yes, I will turn it over.
You, as my friend Mr. Meadows pointed out, misled this committee even today in a written submission that contradicted your testimony. You have suggested you are going to review that. Did you review? Are you going to review it in our next break to correct the record? Yes or no?
Yes.
Question: you helped out the president's campaign, or were involved in the campaign as a representative, as a spokesman. Even in your words today, it was your idea for the campaign dating back to 2011. Is that accurate? Yes or no?
Yes.
Mr. Weisenberg and other individuals, Ms. Rona. Who are those individuals? Are they with the Trump organization?
They
and
are.
Are there other people that we should be meeting with?
So Alan Weissenberg is the chief financial officer.
You got to quickly give us as many names as you can so we can get to them.
Yes, ma'am.
As Ms. Rona, what is Ms. Rona's position?
Rona Graff is Mr. Trump's executive assistant.
And would she be able to corroborate many of the statements that you've made here?
Yes, her office is directly next to his, and she's involved in a lot that went on.
One thing missing from the files and the testimony of the many people involved is
So Piers actually had the text down there too. So yeah, that clip right there, that was one of the people that Jeffrey Epstein was actually texting, trying to help interrogate Cohen to shit on Trump.
any serious accusations of wrongdoing against the president. Many are now highlighting this vintage Trump interview from 2015, in which he torches the former Prince Andrew and says Epstein could be a political problem for the Clintons.
You raised the question of Jeffrey Epstein in your remarks about in the Q&A.
Well, I think he's got a problem. I
What do
mean,
you think the problem will be?
I don't know, but
Bro, you know what? Give it up for Piers Morgan. That's good work. That's good. Keeping everything in context here. He's not too... I like to see this. Piers Morgan has been 100% like for real. You can tell he leans MAGA with 90% of the debates and bullshit that we've seen on his channel. He's definitely been more pro-Trump lately, and probably erroneously so. But this is based, yes. This is what we've had to deal with, guys. This is what we had, is the teasing. Trump has been edging us, okay, for years, edging us on this Epstein stuff. I just we can't forget that this happened. We have to keep all of this in our fucking brain at the same time. I know it's hard. I know it's difficult because there's just so much. You can't even keep up with it. But when Trump gaslights you, and again, I was a Trump supporter. I don't take any pride in just trying to shit on him. This is from the heart, and this would apply to anybody. When Trump is trying to gaslight you and pretend that this is a Democrat hoax, you just have to remember how much we were bombarded with shit like this and how Trump played into it.
That island was really a cesspool. There's no question about it. Just ask Prince Andrew. He'll tell you about it. The island was an absolute cesspool. So,
The Clintons are friends
and he's
of
been
yours,
there
right?
for many
The
times.
Clintons are friends.
Well, I can't say friends, but I know
You're friendly.
them.
You know them.
They play at my clubs a lot. I have clubs, and everybody likes to play
Are you
at my
saying there's
clubs.
a political problem for her if she runs for president?
It could be a political problem. Look, he could be a political problem. Right now, he's Teflon, and right now, maybe not. But he could end up being a political problem.
Well, Trump has nothing to hide and has always known that. It's not unreasonable to ask why this ever became such a mess. It may simply be that a lot of people, including some of his friends and donors, are about to be declared guilty by association. It's very likely that there's no list of videos.
Jay Sands, you're totally right. Fucking Pam Bondi is such a goddamn joke. Dan Bongino, Kash Patel. It's just like, man, it is so beyond disappointing. And I feel like there's just like this theme going on of like extremely bad acting. You know, I don't know how you feel, Jay Sands. We, we're very much, what would you call it? Alternative theory when it comes to the Charlie Kirk stuff. I do not trust Erica Kirk at all. I've done a bunch of, since the day Kirk got taken out, I covered all of that shit for like 2 weeks straight of nonstop Charlie Kirk coverage and shit. And I wasn't a big fan of Charlie Kirk. I was a fan of him, but I was very critical. I reviewed a lot of his stuff on my channel and whatever, but I cared about him and I respected him as a public speaker and someone that, appreciates debate and open conversation. And I had no reason to like dislike Erica Kirk, but I don't trust her at all. And beyond all the other factors, her demeanor and just everything, the way that she presents herself, it just seems so fake to me. And I feel like that's what we're getting from all the administration too. Is like, it's all just like fake acting bullshit. Left and right. We're getting hit from all sides with this fucking clown show, terrible acting. Pam Bondi. Oh, we thought we had a whole blackmail organization scheme that we figured out, and there were tens of I know I told you guys, we had tens of thousands of blackmail videos, but turns out it was just that terrible Jeffrey Epstein everyone hated, and we're glad he's dead, and now we can just put this to rest. That just all CP he found on the internet. Anyone could have downloaded it. He did nothing wrong. Well, it's not cool to have CP, but there were no victims. It's just like the worst acting ever. Dan Bongino going, we're going to release the video to you guys, okay? It's indisputable evidence. He offed himself. I've seen it. And we're going to release it to you. We're going to release the unedited version, and you guys are going to see. Kash Patel. We'll see you in Valhalla. I'm fucking so done. I'm so done. It is like insulting. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be a dick to anybody, but if you are like still on board with this, do you have you interacted with a human being ever in your life? Do you live under a fucking rock? You can't tell these people are fake, lying pieces of shit. It's so obvious. It is just, this is like insulting and disappointing all around. And again, I'm not saying like, oh, that means Donald Trump is a pedo. I don't know that. I'm praying there's some good reason they're lying to our faces in this insulting, demeaning manner. I'm praying there's a good reason. I just have my doubts.
the IP clients and no paper trail to Tel Aviv, which means some people will simply never believe they got the full story anyway. But one thing is very clear, as it has been all along, this won't be going away until we know absolutely everything. Well, to debate, I'm joined by star-studded panel, Cenk Uygur, the founder, CEO of the Young Turks.
Jay Sands, you know what? I'm happy to have you, dude. You seem base. The Kirk thing was the most suspicious shit I've ever seen. You know what? Thank you for joining us. I'm glad I'm not fucking it. I'm seriously, guys. I'm glad to have other people. You don't have to agree with what I think happened, but at least it's good to have sensible people in the chat that just are not completely detached from reality.
Brian Tyler Cohen, the host of No Lie, Random Tatum, better known as the Officer Tatum, and Michael Knowles, host of the Michael Knowles Show on Daily Wire. Plus, Anthony Scaramucci will join us shortly. Okay, Cenk, let me start with you. Donald Trump has flipped around on the Epstein files and their importance, significance, and need to be fully transparent about them for the last few months. I'm trying to scratch my head and work out exactly why, not least because when I interviewed David Boies recently, who was the attorney for Virginia Giuffre and a number of other victims, and also one of the most eminent criminal lawyers in American modern history, he was crystal clear to me that from everything he's seen in the files, there is no suggestion of any criminal culpability for Trump himself. So what is going on here?
Yeah. So first of all, obviously there was things that were embarrassing there for Donald Trump. And, in your intro, you talked about how there isn't anything that says that Donald Trump actually did something illegal. That's true. And that means it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It just means that we haven't seen the files yet, right? But if it turns out we see the files and we're sure that it's the complete files and it turns out Trump didn't do anything illegal, I wouldn't be overly shocked. This isn't about Trump. I know for the partisans, they think, oh, this is about Trump or Clinton or whoever, right? No, we just want to know who's running our country. And my guess is that Trump was hiding it both out of personal embarrassment. And let's get real. I mean, in the email so far already, we see, Epstein saying that he's with Giuffre in my house in 2011 when Trump claims that he broke off his relationship with Epstein in 2003. Obviously, there's the infamous Bubba email, whatever that means. I don't know why people aren't talking about that more. And you've got a lot of really embarrassing stuff for Trump. But on top of that, this is clearly an intelligence agency. And at this point, pretty much proven that it's Mossad. Drop Site News has Ehud Barak's emails where they are conspiring. Epstein and the former Prime Minister of Israel are conspiring to get America to bomb Syria and get America to bomb Iran.
What? Oh, fuck. Really? You guys are so busted. Yeah, you know what? Now Trump wants to release the files because look, the cat's out of the bag, guys. It was a Mossad operation. So now we can release the files.
Epstein is so powerful. He can set up a meeting with Vladimir Putin for Ehud Barak. He's more powerful than the former Prime Minister of Israel. This guy was a lot bigger than we realize. So look, for the partisans, the Democrats will want to get Trump, and the Trump loyalists will pretend that he did nothing wrong and it was all the Democrats. But I think that's actually missing the point. The point is somebody else is running our government. Who ran?
Let's see how the conservative guys on the right, let's see how they do trying to defend Israel, explain away the Israel connection. Let's see how that goes.
This horrible scheme to rape American
Sure, it'll be smooth and flawless. They practice for this kind of stuff.
girls and then use the tapes to smear or maybe hold hostage American politicians and powerful people. I mean, the answer seems to be clear. There's no question Epstein was working with Israel. So why are we not talking about that? And of course, since Trump is a huge client of Israel, has gotten hundreds of millions of dollars from donors who favor Israel, he's going to want to hide that as well. And why is he giving up now and saying, okay, release the files? Well, number one, he isn't. He can release the files himself right now. So he's lying. He doesn't really want to release the files. And number two, it's because he already lost the vote. So what else is he going to do? He hasn't, because some portion of MAGA and a huge portion of his voters have rebelled, and they rightly rebelled. This isn't America First. This isn't anything that he promised before.
Okay, Brandon Tatum, welcome back to Uncensored. I saw you pulling a few faces there, suggesting you're not entirely in agreement with Cenk's assessment. So what's your response?
Well, I think it's interesting that it always got to be about Israel, which is insane.
It does, because they're always involved. Yeah, no, this is it's funny. That is the technique. I've heard Destiny point this out. Destiny's very good at observing other people's content and seeing how they tick and stuff. If you're on Piers Morgan's show, if you are a guest on Piers Morgan's show, anybody that clicks on this video and you happen to go on Piers's show, though, if you want to talk next, just whoever's speaking at the time, you just got to make faces. Just make whatever faces you want, even if it's something you agree with, and just pretend you disagree, radically, and he'll go to you next, and then you can talk and, say whatever you want.
To me, my assessment on the totality of circumstances is that it's in the email. I don't think this really affects the American people. Most people are trying to have a good livable wage and all this other stuff that we're talking about, housing costs, you name it, insurance, you name it. And nobody really is thinking about this. I don't know why this is such a major deal. If Trump was implicated whatsoever in any of these files, I think we all agree that the Democrats would have at least hinted to it when he was running for office, so he'll never get in office again. And for someone to think that it's got to be about Israel, then you have to say that both sides are covering for Israel. And I don't
Yeah. Brendan Wilds, BW, what's up, lover? Welcome. Thank you. I appreciate it. Or was that for Scott? Yeah, Scott had a good stream too. I missed part of it. I had to prep and then get in the shower. But yeah, I caught a lot of Scott's show. It's kind of nice seeing Scott do around 2 hours with Stein not in the rotation. Truth is, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Rainey. Good show. Much love, DMS. Thanks, BW. I appreciate it.
think so. I don't think that the Democrats were as in love with Israel as Cenk is claiming that Donald Trump is. I don't believe so. The CIA could be just as involved in this as you claim Mossad is. So we don't know. We don't have any evidence to even.
Oh, it's the same. It's two different sides of the same coin there. Thank you, Mossad.
Project this, to be honest. So
Mossad, CIA.
I would say this. Like everybody on this panel, they need to release the information so we can have clarity. But for this to be an ongoing thing and everybody's just so hyper-focused on this is the determination of whether you like Trump or not. That's asinine to me.
Angel Studios are back with a new must-see documentary.
Oh, God, I'm not going to see it, whatever it is. Let's go.
And the one thing I would say about that, Brandon, that I would take issue with is your sense that people don't care. This is potentially one of the biggest pedophile scandals in modern American history, and it involves a man who's extremely mysterious, even to this day, seemed to have amassed an enormous personal wealth, buying one of the biggest homes in Manhattan. No one's quite sure how he got that money. He seems to, there's a fascinating bit of information on the Semaphore site today, Ben Smith's site, in which he talks about something that's on the files that's available now, which is Michael Wolff had written a 4,000-word piece about Epstein, which he sent to Epstein, just to try and, as he puts it, induce him to get other friends to talk to Wolff. And people can have their view about the ethics of that, but this has been Wolff's playbook with a lot of people over the years. But if you read it, the sheer volume, and this is after the conviction that Epstein had for being a pedophile, the sheer volume of rich, famous, powerful people pouring in and out of this Manhattan home is unbelievable. And and there are potentially 2,000 girls and young women, many of the girls underage, who have been abused here. So I do think it really matters.
Let me clarify that if it came across as me saying nobody cares. I don't think it's that nobody cares. I think when you talk about the priorities of the president of the United States and priorities of our country, I'm saying it's not as significant. There were a lot of victims, and I think they need to get justice. And how we haven't gotten justice for them this far isn't.
Bro, this is the logic of these people that pretend that the Mossad is no problem. This is the logic here. So what if there's a blackmail ring involving powerful people that pull all the levers within our society? Hey, so what, guys? It's just some people banging some little kids. That's not completely evil and demonic. That has something to do with the way our government is run, possibly, is the fact that there's some kind of deep state Mossad CIA operation to get leverage on people by getting them to bang kids. That's not completely fucked up and demonic and something that everybody should be concerned about.
Insane to me. We should release all the files. But what I'm saying is that the majority of the priority of this country, and the reason why I think that the president isn't as focused on this, and it's not necessarily just because it's nefarious, it's because there's a lot more things going on in our country that the majority of Americans are feeling every day in their pocketbook and all of the above. So that's all I'm saying. I don't want to be insensitive to people who are victimized by this criminal and evil person who's now dead. So I wanted to make sure that it's clear.
Okay, Brian, it's a fast-moving scandal. The former Prince Andrew was sort of hanging on right to the point that there were new leaked emails contradicting his previous statements about how long he'd known Epstein and so on. As Cenk pointed out, if what Epstein says in these emails that came out about Trump in the last few days is right, then it appears that Donald Trump may have continued his friendship with Epstein past when he said he did before. So these emails, the leak emails, have been pretty devastating in terms of apparent evidence contradicting a lot of public statements by a lot of very famous people. But ultimately, to me, what really matters.
Yeah, Piers is being very fair here, and this is true, guys. I mean, look, with the stuff, we don't want to entirely, if we're being fair, we don't want to entirely throw Trump under the bus just based on what Jeffrey Epstein says. I get it. Like, everything looks completely fucking sketchy right now, but you got to remember, you're taking the word of a human trafficker over the president. Now, granted, we're worried that Trump was involved with some of it, but we don't have any evidence to nail Trump to the human trafficking cross. We do have that with Epstein. Okay. And so if you choose, you just got to remember, you're taking the word of a bona fide PDF file over the president, which is, you just got, I'm just telling you to keep it in context, not that that's wrong to do, but, I don't know. We don't, just because Epstein said, oh, Trump's at my house for Thanksgiving. I don't know. I was wondering if by now somebody would have debunked that. And I kind of feel like, I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud now about it. We'll have to see if, what if Donald Trump himself or somebody else could like dig up a photo from back then that shows Trump had an alibi. He was with, who the fuck ever, whatever wife he was with, Ivanka. So it's somebody else's house, hopefully. I don't know.
Is whether any of this activity was criminal. And I am mindful again of what David Boyd said to me, which is he'd seen nothing criminal against Trump, but he had seen stuff against at least 6 and maybe as many as a dozen high-profile men, which he thought warranted criminal prosecution. So this has a long way to go. If this dump comes with all the files released, we could see a flurry of prosecutions against some very famous people.
Look, even if Trump didn't do anything illegal, the reality is that he is the one secreting all of these files, in effect, protecting all of these people who may very well have done something illegal. And that's just as bad in my book, whether you are the one committing these crimes or whether you're the one protecting these people who are committing these crimes. And the reality is that Donald Trump had the ability via Pam Bondi, because as we all know, she is an appendage of him, to be able to release these files months ago. And in fact, this wouldn't have been surprising considering this administration is filled with people who staked their entire identities, who predicated their entire brands on this idea that they were going to release the Epstein files on day one. So it's no surprise when you staff your administration with Dan Bongino and Kash Patel and Pam Bondi and Alina Habba, all of these people who had been beating this drum about releasing these Epstein files, suddenly they hide them. So if somebody did do something illegal and you have somebody who's protecting those people, in my book, that is just as bad. And I want to clarify a point that I heard previously on this panel, this idea that if there was something bad in the Epstein files, that the Biden administration would have just released it. First of all, the Ghislaine Maxwell prosecution was going until 2022, and then her appeal was going until 2025. And in a world prior to this one, where the DOJ is completely politicized and weaponized, they're not going to release information on ongoing prosecutions. But that notwithstanding, look, I do believe that this stuff should have been released, and that falls squarely in the lap of one person, and that's Merrick Garland. And if you're looking for somebody to defend Merrick Garland and his judicious nature and his overly cautious nature, it's not going to be me. And frankly, I don't think it's going to be anyone, because this guy was focused not on achieving justice without fear or favor. This guy was focused.
So, dude, that's actually that's funny, guys. That goes right in line with what I was saying. So this guy's arguing, I guess he's right? He's saying really the Ghislaine Maxwell prosecution was like still going on. Jeffrey Epstein was already in jail, and then he offed himself in, when was it, 2017 or whenever the fuck, I don't remember. Or no, what year was it? I don't remember. I know Trump was president. I think it was during Trump's first term, right? Anyway, then Ghislaine Maxwell was, even though, Epstein was offed, Ghislaine Maxwell was still getting churned through the system. So you could argue it's an ongoing case and you can't release it. Again, this goes back to what I was saying towards the beginning of the stream, is that you could have easily got me. I am not like completely bought into one side or something. Like I'm just like completely deep-throating any politician. If you could have actually given me a reason, like this guy said, to like, okay, well, we couldn't release the files, but look, Ghislaine Maxwell's, all of the trials should be over, and appeals, her chances at appeals should be done by whatever date. And I promise after all of this is over, we will release the files, and Donald Trump is in there. You're going to see some stuff about Trump that you're really not going to like, people. I would immediately go, holy fucking shit, I'm actually going to vote Democrat. Unless Trump had some crazy response.
On preventing the optics of politicization. This was as weak and meek an attorney general as I think we've ever had. So I also think that Merrick Garland...
I'm from Phillies up in here, lover. Yeah, well, no, that's pretty much the theme for the night. We will never know the truth. You're very right. That's probably true.
Should have released this stuff sooner. But look, in a previous world where the separation of church and state between the White House and the DOJ actually mattered, the same world that Republicans used to occupy when they clutched their pearls about Bill Clinton and Loretta Lynch, there wouldn't be a world where Joe Biden can mandate that Merrick Garland release these files. But we obviously don't live in that world anymore.
Okay, Michael Knowles, if I was advising Donald Trump here, I would just say, you know what, you should just get ahead of all this. Order all the files to be released, unredacted, just get it all out there, because it's all going to come out now. However it happens, it's all going to come out. Yes, there's a process now where the House will vote on it. It's likely to vote in favor of releasing it. It goes to the Senate. There'll be enormous pressure on the Senate to authorize the release. And then there may be some stuff that's held back because they'll say, well, we're investigating. But ultimately, I don't think the American public are now going to be appeased until they know that every spit and cough and dotted I is out there. What do you think?
This is what it really comes down to, Piers. You know, there have been lots of interesting things said on this panel. I'm very curious as to what the Epstein infrastructure represented. There have been many suggestions over the years, reportedly from Alex Acosta, the former U.S. attorney who was Trump's labor nominee when he apparently suggested that Epstein belonged to intelligence, the potential connections to Israel, the connection to the UK, obviously with Prince Andrew, whatever. You know, obviously, it's extremely interesting. I'd like to know more about it. We probably never will know much more about it, but I'm interested in it. Obviously, we want justice for the victims. Obviously, we want bad guys to be held to account. All of that is true, but it's simpler. The reason that President Trump initially in 2015 called for scrutiny into Epstein is because he doesn't have anything serious to hide. Yes, I'm sure he turns up in the files. Yes, I'm sure there's some embarrassing stuff in there, but he's got nothing serious to hide. I've got that from pretty highly placed liberal sources too, as you mentioned as well, Piers. Then the reason he flipped on it is because he realized rightly that focusing on the Epstein files doesn't really get him anything politically. It's just kind of a distraction from the topics he wants to be talking about, which are crime in Democrat cities and immigration and the economy and whatever else. So I think it was a basic political calculation to say, if we're talking about Epstein, it doesn't really help us. Now, for that very same reason, I think the White House just...
Bro, that is just the most innocent interpretation of all of this shit. I just don't see how that can be true. I don't see how Donald Trump can it's Trump holding true, following through with promises that he made to his base. Why not argue that about any fucking promise he made about cracking down on immigration, bringing prices down, fucking anything, tax-free tips? Why follow through on fucking any of it? If you're just like, oh, it doesn't score you political, how can that not score you political points as much as cracking down on immigration and bringing prices down? Do you not have a clue how crazy and conspiracy minded your base is? Are you retarded, Mr. QAnon?
It's miscalculated. They thought that not talking about Epstein was going to make the issue go away so they could focus on more important things. Well, actually, it just put even more focus on the Epstein files. So now Trump comes out, he says, all right, whatever, I'm going to lose this vote. The party's in rebellion. Okay, fine, release the files. But I think it's much more practical than what everyone's suggesting.
Well, the only thing I would say about your timeline, I'm not saying you're wrong, but if you go back in the last few months, the first months of the year when he got elected, there was this enormous push by his people to say, we're going to release all the files. We're going to be totally transparent. They came on this show and we're giving it the full, we're going to get it all out there, blah, blah, blah. And then a weird series of events happen. Elon Musk falls out with Donald Trump and suddenly tweets out of nowhere, posts out of nowhere on his X platform. Breaking news, Trump's in the Epstein files. That's why he doesn't want to release them. Enjoy your night, Donald, something like that. And within a few days, the whole investigation was shut down. The whole idea of releasing them was shut down. And I remember looking at all that thinking, that is very odd. What is going on here, right? What has Elon Musk seen or heard? And the fact he set off this bonfire with this one post, which he then deleted later, but it triggered a series of events at the White House. It was a screeching U-turn on their previous attitude and tone towards these files. You don't have to be a conspiracy theorist, Michael, to think it's all a bit weird. Holiday season is here, and I'm probably not alone in wondering if I'm being ripped off.
Bro, I'm just all over the place really considering what the possibilities are with this. The possibilities and probabilities. But I guess it's really not crazy to think that maybe Trump, it's possible that Trump has sort of known that there is some, he's heard and he knows from the little bit of exposure from, the prosecutor credited him for helping bust Epstein and stuff. He knows that there's some fucked up shit in those files about Epstein and that Clinton was really close with him and all this stuff. I mean, is there a possibility that Trump didn't know how much he was in the Epstein files and he actually 100% was like, I want to release these because I'm pretty sure it's just a bunch of Democrat politicians and shit? I kind of just don't. It's hard for me to really believe with the way they're acting now. How could Trump even, it feels like he just gave us an empty promise and was just because he's been sort of out of the side of his mouth saying it. He hasn't directly, it's sort of been like a subliminal thing he just brings up to like fire up his base a little bit, insinuating, oh yeah, that those files that everyone's frothing at the mouth to get at. Yeah, it'd be a shame if someone got in office and released them, huh, guys? Like, you know, it's been this whole time. I mean, is it really possible that he didn't know his name was all up in there? I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like hard to believe.
Points and gift cards to make the most of your holiday shopping. Go to duke.com/peers.
It is all a bit weird, of course, but I think that actually kind of proves the more basic political point, which is that releasing the Epstein files was a very good line during the campaign, and I think people cared about it. Don't forget, it was the conservatives back in 2014, 2015 who were calling attention to Epstein. That was initially considered a Democrat scandal. But then, as you see, even just from Elon's tweet, the very fact that Trump appears in the files, because he's known Epstein for a very long time, the very fact of that became a major distraction. It was politically damaging to the White House. And then you just got to think at a basic political calculation, what's the best that comes out of releasing the files? Is it a real knockdown for the Democrats, or is there really going to be justice? Some of what's in the files is actually going to be retracted. Like you saw Virginia Giuffre retract an accusation against Alan Dershowitz and come out and say that she never saw Trump do anything improper. So it's this muddy, weird, ugly event. Even the real stuff with Epstein, the potential connections to intelligence or whatever, it's just so, I don't know, murky and obscure. I don't think there's a major political win. And now I think there pretty clearly is.
Get him, Cenk, get him.
Yeah, no, this is way simpler. There's nothing murky about this at all. There's two factors here. One is Donald Trump's embarrassment, whether he did something criminal or not. And on that, let's stay there for a second. We're all ignoring the elephant in the room. There's an email that says that Donald Trump blew Bubba. Now, some people think Bubba's Bill Clinton. Some people think it's a horse. Some people think whatever. Now, I didn't write the email. In fact, when I first saw it online, I didn't even believe it. And
Well, let me explain to you.
Believe it now.
Hang on. Just explain to viewers who might be at the moment shouting at their screen thinking, what? So this is a message reported as originally from Mark Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein's brother. He is the one who sends this to Jeffrey Epstein. He has since publicly denied that it was referring to Bill Clinton, but has offered no clarification as to who it was referring to. Clinton, of course, had that nickname, amongst others. I mean, it could just be a joke between brothers. It could just be a slur. Or it could be something else, I guess. I just find it very, very hard. What's that?
I have a question for Cenk. Cenk, do you really believe, forget about Trump for a second, do you think that Trump is Bill Clinton's type? Everything, we know a lot about Bill Clinton's sex life. Do you really think large blonde man, that's Bubba's type? I don't think so.
Yeah. So guys, this is a classic distraction.
That's honestly, that's a fair point. But I don't know. If there's any truth to the weird shit people hear about, you know, it's not like we know that if any of the theories are true, some of the fucking hazing and shit, it's not like it's actual like Bill Clinton would want a blowjob from men that look like Donald Trump. It's more of like a power humiliation / possibly blackmail, as there seem to be referring to a photo here. That's what it is. It's not that Bill Clinton has the hots for Donald Trump, right?
It's funny, but I don't know if Bubba's Bill Clinton. I don't care if it's Bill Clinton. I'd be surprised if it was Bill Clinton. But I don't know that he actually blew a guy. I don't know. But Mark Epstein denied that it was Bill Clinton, but didn't deny that Donald Trump actually gave a blowjob. So it's not me.
None
And
of
if you
us-
say, hey,
I don't
look,
think
it's Epstein's brother, I don't
I don't
trust
think
him.
even you
But hold
believe
on,
that.
hold on. Let me finish the thought. Hold on. No. And then Jeffrey Epstein says, well, the Russians would love to get their hands on that picture or something like along those lines. So wait, is that a joke? That doesn't sound like a joke. So look, I'm not saying he definitely did it, but is it possible that Donald Trump was embarrassed that would come out? Of course. Okay, but that's only half the equation. Is and the
classic Cenk.
less important half of the equation. The main reason why it never came out, both under Trump and under Democratic administrations, is because it obviously involves intelligence agencies. This is not complicated. And Officer Tatum says, oh, okay, it might be the CIA. I agree.
Base, Cenk, base.
Maybe it's the CIA and Mossad working together, but there's no question. You can look at the 4-part series on Drop Site News. The former Prime Minister of Israel's emails have been released, and Epstein and him constantly are coordinating about how to push America into a war. And they're talking about only the benefit of Israel. They never talk about the...
Wait, what is this? What is he talking? Drop Site News? What is he saying? Hold on a second. 24, 47. What are we at?
The main reason why it never came out, both under Trump and under Democratic administrations, is because it obviously involves intelligence agencies. This is not complicated. And Officer Tatum says, oh, okay, it might be the CIA. I agree. Maybe it's the CIA and Mossad working together, but there's no question. You can look at the 4-part series on Drop Site News. The former Prime Minister of Israel's emails have been released, and
Drop Site News. Oh. Huh. Um. What the fuck? I'm just reading through some of this real quick to see if it's worth bringing up here. Um, um, what the fuck? Bro. This is the direct Israel connection here. Okay, let's get through some more of this video and maybe we'll take a look at this. But yeah, this is interesting. I'm on it's Drop Site, DROPSITE news, and it's Epstein Israel surveillance state. Well, this is one article that popped up. There's probably a bunch of other shit, but yeah, this is showing the Jeffrey Epstein, Ehud Barak connection. Okay.
Epstein and him constantly are coordinating about how to push America into a war. And they're talking about only the benefit of Israel. They never talk about the benefit of America. And Epstein is using almost all of his power to help Israel. That's now an established fact. And that's way more important than Bubba, right? And yet that's another giant elephant in the room. And mainstream media is like, oh, no, it involves Israel.
Icy Bird Lover, welcome.
So we can't talk about it. Well, that explains everything. That explains why both parties have been covering this up, because it involves potentially our government or a beloved special allies government.
Obviously, Tatum, look, I don't know the answer to this. But
That's so observant. Wide variety of head shapes on the panel. That's very true. That's very true. We got the fucking pencil head right here. We've got this guy's got the very round shape. It doesn't help that his beard here is covering like part of his lower jaw, so it just makes his head look like an actual nearly a perfect circle. Then we got this guy. He's got sort of like, I don't know, like a triangle shape going. Then Shank Scott is sort of like, you know, like I don't know what you'd call that, almost like pill shaped, like oval, and then his is like a little skinnier, but yeah, that's weird.
I would say, having read a lot about Jeffrey Epstein now and the circles he mixed in and the circles he brought to his home and to his island, when you put it all together, it is absolutely not beyond the realms of fantasy. In fact, I would say it heads more to a high likelihood that he was up to his neck in it with intelligence agencies of some kind, maybe myriad intelligence agencies. It would absolutely go with his persona and the type of people he was getting around his table on a sort of almost daily basis. So I certainly wouldn't want to bet the bank on him having no attachment to Mossad or CIA or anybody else.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that either. I have no idea what exactly is involved in this, and nobody does. I mean, it's a very complicated situation. Nobody understands the totality of this, because he was arrested under Donald Trump's first term, if I'm not mistaken. They had the information there. It was we had the White House and everything. We could have divulged whatever needs to be divulged, and people are going to argue if they don't get the results they want that it was deleted. It was somehow some nefarious thing that went on. Then the Clintons, and then Joe Biden had it forever, and they did nothing. They didn't even mention any impropriety about Donald Trump. And you would think if Donald Trump had blown some guy and they had an email, they would at least leak that email. They wouldn't mention nothing else. They would leak an email by Donald Trump, at least before the election, to make him look bad, so he'll never get in office, and they can continue to cover this up forever in perpetuity.
You know why I think they didn't?
Unless Israel ordered them not to.
Well,
so
hang on. It might be simpler than that. It might be simpler than that. My gut feeling.
Biden listened to every single thing Israel said.
My gut feeling about this, Officer Tatum, is there's the reason actually in the end neither side has felt compelled to release all these files is I suspect when we see them all that both sides have a lot of of blood on their hands. Not literally, but in terms of embarrassing revelation, perhaps evidence of alleged criminality and so on. I suspect you'll see this is a proper bipartisan scandal. I only base that on the type of guests that Epstein was having all the time. They were from every part of American high society, Democrat, Republican, you name it. They were trotting down there. So, from what I'm gathering from people who've seen these files,
Cenk going hard in the paint on the Israel stuff. I fucking love it. I love it.
There's a lot of embarrassment to be had for both parties, which may explain why both parties have been reluctant to put it all out into the public domain.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you on that to a certain degree, because it does appear to be that way. There's people that have mentioned, obviously on television and the like, that there are people that may be implicated that probably did not commit a crime. They have just been accused of committing a crime from victims with no evidence. And so I think there's a risk in that they don't want to expose people that have not been able to go through justice. But I would argue, as crooked as the Democrats were, you would think that they would float and release things to make sure that Donald Trump would get in office, and therefore they can have the White House again, and no one would ever know.
I do agree with that. I have to say, I do agree with that, Brian. Just to bring you in here, I mean, they tried to jail him for just about everything. People tried to kill Donald Trump several times in that campaign. The idea that the Democrats, with these files in their possession, would not have trawled them at some stage for stuff which could be damaging to Trump, if not disqualifying, I think it's for the birds. They must have done, and if they didn't, they're even more useless and incompetent than the polls currently suggest.
Well, first of all, let's not conflate they with the Democrats in terms of who tried to assassinate Donald Trump.
I didn't say that. I was very careful. I said they tried.
I heard the hedging language. But
I'll be crystal clear. They, i.e. the left, tried to jail him for absolutely everything. That's uncontestable. And I said, and there were attempts to take his life several times.
And they justified the assassination.
Right. I'm not pinning that on Democrats, but I'm saying that there was a lot going on in that year to stop Donald Trump becoming president again, either through imprisonment or through killing him. And the idea that no one on the left in possession of these files would not have trawled them for damaging information, I think is stretching credulity, isn't it? Uncensored is proudly sponsored by Cozy Earth, which, like me, delivers next level quality and comfort.
Cozy Earth. Go buy one.
This is somebody whose entire ethos, his entire raison d'etre in government was just to prevent the optics of politicization. Am I surprised that Merrick Garland didn't leak any of this information in the files? Absolutely not. Again, this guy didn't.
Oh, I think there's a new person in the chat. What's up? Carl Knudsen? Is the K silent? He's a criminal. Who? Trump? Allegedly. Ooh. F Israel. What's up? Welcome. You can definitely hang out with us. Hey guys, welcome Carl here. He seems cool. Welcome, bro. How's it going? This is my little live stream. I do it 5 nights a week. It's called Dark Times with Dark Match Steve. The times have never been darker.
Dude, this guy's sole focus was to not do anything political or politicized. So if you're asking why this wasn't leaked, do I think it should have been leaked? Absolutely. Do I care whether anyone from Larry Summers or Bill Clinton all the way to Donald Trump is implicated in these files? Am I looking to protect any of these people? Absolutely not. I think all of this should have been released. And by the way, so did the people that staff this very administration. Dan Bongino, Kash Patel. The fact that they now are so silent, the fact that they're perpetuating the same cover-up that they once condemned.
I don't disagree. I think you make a perfectly valid point about the hypocrisy on both sides. Michael, you want to respond to that?
Yeah.
Get in there, Michael Knowles. Let's hear it.
Hold on. Brian's whitewashing.
I want to hear you lick some boots.
A little bit too much here. He's complimenting him by pretending to insult him. So he's saying,
the real problem with Merrick Garland.
Well, you are, because you're saying the real problem with Merrick Garland is he didn't want to get into the fray of politics. He was so clean. He wanted to remain so above it all. This is the guy who lied about the Biden DOJ spying on Catholic parishes, going in, so much perfidy, so much deception. And I don't know, he was a complete political hack. And I think what's important to this conversation is I don't think it was Merrick Garland's pristine moral standards that prevented him from releasing this. I think that probably Pierce is right. And one second, Brian. I think Pierce is probably right that if the Democrats don't want to release the files, it's because the files don't look good for them either.
If you think Merrick Garland was a political hack, do you think Pam Bondi is a political hack, Michael?
I think Pam Bondi is doing a very good job as Attorney General.
Well,
I don't think she's a hack like Garland.
This woman has engaged in every political prosecution. Donald Trump literally sends his...
Pam Bondi is a lost dog. She's a fucking idiot.
Edicts out into the ether on Truth Social. He posted what was supposed to be a DM to Pam, telling her what to do. And the second she read it, she snapped too.
I don't think
the notion that Pam Bondi is doing a very good job, but that Merrick Garland is a political hack. I wish Merrick Garland was more of a political hack.
I'll explain to you the
distinction. But the notion that Pam Bondi is just some figure, is some apolitical figure, is a joke.
No, here's the distinction. You're saying Pam Bondi has an allegiance to President Trump, or she's a conservative or something. Yeah, obviously, of course, she's the Attorney General under a Republican administration. I guess the difference is I don't think Pam Bondi is lying about the FBI going in and spying on the political enemies of the party in power.
Was Pam Bondi lying when she said the files were right on her desk and that they were going to be released? Was Pam Bondi lying when she said that the files were going to be released on her desk?
Yeah, I think she was. I'm afraid. Let me jump in there. I think that what she
hadn't said it because
what she did that day was ludicrous, and is actually one of the reasons why the whole thing spiraled out of control. Because if you take a camel to the edge of an oasis and don't actually give it a drink, They get angry. The whole fire panel. I'm going to bring in Anthony Scaramucci, the former White House press secretary, host of The Rest is Politics US. Anthony, great to have you.
Who the fuck has ever heard that analogy? A camel to what? To what?
Back on Uncensored. How are you?
It's nice to be on. I see a lot of my friends there. Hello, Michael. It was a pretty partisan comment there, Michael. Hello, Brian. Thank.
Anthony.
I mean, Michael, I love you. You think Pam Bondi is nonpartisan, but Merrick Garland was. I mean, come on, man. That is such a stretch, my brother.
Like Garland.
Okay, all right. I'm just saying. Let's get the bubble back on the level. Okay, like when we're leveling the frame, the picture, we got to have the bubble in the middle. Pam
She's
Bondi,
a partisan, and she's part of the party. So I agree.
Pam Bondi is a Trump family law firm member that happens to also be the Attorney General of the United States. So, I mean, we just got to be honest about it. Well, go ahead, Pierce. It's your show. It's great to be back on.
It's great to, I don't want you suddenly commandeering my entire show here. I think
I apologize for that. I
talented
broadcaster
that you've now become.
I know Michael's, moves. I know Michael's moves.
Well, let's get back to your moves. This whole Epstein scandal, it seems to me it's been an ongoing act of self-harm by the Trump administration to take all the media to a place where they were just expecting to be given all the files and be boasting about how transparent you're going to be, how you're going to finally get to the bottom of all this, and then just to put the drawbridge up and say, no, it's all over, no files, no investigation, nothing. And now to be sort of bullied into...
Well, Icy Bird, none of these nerds have their own crypto? Bro, I barely have regular money. I don't have any crypto.
Going along with its release and so on. It's all been handled very badly. And what's been fascinating, I think, to watch from the outside is the way that a lot of the pressure on Trump has not just come from Democrats, but has actually come from within the MAGA base, who were enraged about this and wanted these files released and have been completely incredulous as to why suddenly they weren't being.
Well, I mean, there's a lot there, but I guess what I said last week on our podcast, his move is to say he wants full disclosure because that gives him coverage with his base. His base believes in him no matter what, and no matter what comes out of the disclosed files, Trump will have a defense that his base would believe. And so I was very surprised that he went in the direction that you're describing. And of course, on Sunday night, he went in the direction that I thought was the more accurate offensive direction for the president, because that's really his only move. I mean, he would have lost and he would have showed a fissure in the MAGA base by that House vote going against him. So, but I will say this, and people could disagree with me on here that really like the president.
All right, guys, I'm just letting you guys know, stick with us if, this isn't the most intriguing of a debate, but stick with us. Once we get through a little bit more of this, if it starts to drop off too much, if it's not interesting, we'll get out of here quicker out of this this conversation. But I am going to, I'll bring you guys over to this drop site that Shank was referencing, and we'll read a little bit through this. I'll read really quick through, we'll get through. It's like, it's fairly long, but we'll get through at least a little bit of it. And if you guys are interested, you can go read the rest of it. Okay.
He looks tired. He looks distracted. And he's obviously worried about something because you don't make the moves that he made, the ones that you're describing, if he's not worried about something. But he's going to get forced into this now. And I believe that they'll go back to Pam Bondi and say that there's an ongoing investigation, a result of which none of this stuff can be divulged at this moment. So I think that's the next move from him is I want the vote, make it unanimous. But oh, by the way, there's an ongoing investigation, so you'll never see the light of day. The documents.
But I don't think Anthony, that's going to fly. I just do not think that will fly either outside of his party or within his party. You're seeing a really fascinating schism erupting now in the conservative right in America. A lot of it goes back to Israel, but I also think the Epstein files have been a major part of this. You just see people signing up on either side of this, and I think that a lot of the MAGA base, the real diehard Trumpers, they want this stuff out there.
Well, let me just push back for a second, Piers. I know you have a lot of other people we need to talk to on the show, but I just want to say this because I know him very well. I think that's the move until he can come up with another distraction, perhaps killing more people off of the coast of Venezuela, invading Venezuela, something to do with Ukraine. He will find a distraction. Remember, Trump is always characterized by incrementalism, and so he's not worried about 3 months from now or 2 months from now. He's worried about next week. And so you would be right if he doesn't come up with more smoke screens. And I would just tell you that he has a PhD in smoke screening. So I predict he'll find something to distract people from this over the ensuing months.
All right, Michael, just bring you back on that point. That could well be the case. But I really do think if all they do is kick this can down the road, it's going to get a bigger problem for the Trump administration.
I totally agree. And I almost agree with my friend, Mr. Scaramucci over there. I think he's just getting it backwards. I think that the entire calculation here was that the Epstein files are a major distraction. And so what has come to be the case, I think indisputably, is that not releasing the files was a distraction. There are going to be files, however, that will not come out. And even if they did release all the files, there will always be people saying, well, there were more emails, there were files that were destroyed. Of course, that's the case. The Epstein scandal is really, really bizarre. And so I kind of think of it like the JFK files. In 1992, we were supposed to get those JFK files, and the government just doesn't release them all. So either Epstein is who the elites say that he is, which is a weird, rich sex freak,
freak, but no connections to any political questions, or he was the super duper triple spy for every government agency in the world. He's James Bond and Jason Bourne. In which case, we're never going to find out the full story. Either we know what we know, we know everything, or we're never going to get the whole story. And so it will serve as a distraction. There's no question about it. The only question is, how do you minimize that distraction? And I agree. I hate to say it, but I think I agree with everyone here that Trump has to release the files. It helps to reunify the party a little bit. And by the way, if the Democrats win the midterms, which those elections 2 weeks ago seem to suggest, they're going to subpoena, they're going to have investigations ad nauseum. So better to get ahead of it and not let them put their spin on it.
Yeah, that's what I think. Cenk, I want to bring in the other extraordinary part of the last few weeks, the remarkable transformation of Marjorie Taylor Greene from MAGA cheerleader and close friend of the president to the woman who's now the sworn enemy of the president. He calls her a traitor.
I hope Cenk responds to Michael Knowles. I want to hear what he had to say here.
And is now, and really underpinning this is her conviction that the Epstein files have to be released and that the Trump administration has been blocking it. What do you make of this?
Yeah, so there's a connective tissue through all of this. So I'll start with Epstein and get to the split in MAGA. So guys, we keep talking about it like it isn't solved. It's solved. He was working with Israel. He had an Israeli spy, an intelligence officer, stay with him over and over again for weeks on end. Every email from Ehud Barak's emails and drop site news shows that Epstein was doing everything he could to help Israel. So, and why, Trump's uncomfortable, the Democrats are uncomfortable, but yet somehow they don't release it. Why not? Because the one thing that both parties serve is Israel. Who has enough power to kill someone inside an American prison and have the videotape not work and the guards be off? Intelligence agencies. Obviously, this is already solved. So now the connective tissue. So the reason why Trump's base is upset is because the core of the promise was America first. And now they have Trump get into office. First, he says, no, I'm not serving you guys. I'm not releasing the Epstein files. Then he says, okay, nope, I'm going to bomb Iran and I'm going to do whatever Israel wants. Israel is first. Then it goes way beyond that. Then it goes, okay, I don't care about affordability anymore. Hey, tax cuts for the rich, subsidies for oil companies, and all the things that never put Americans first, the donors first, whether they're oil companies, pharmaceutical companies, or the Israeli lobby. So Marjorie Taylor Greene comes along and she says what MAGA's been saying all along. So now what you guys have to understand is that Trump's voters, in my opinion, and I'm curious what you all think, are in three buckets, right? One is independents who listen to Rogan, Young Turks, Theo Von, Tim Dillon. Those guys just hate the establishment. And they'll vote for anyone who's an actual enemy of the establishment and a populist for the American people. So those guys are already gone. I mean, you see it in the younger voters. Trump used to have an 8-point lead. Now he has a 55-point deficit. So an independence and the younger gone. Then there's a bucket in the middle, which is true MAGA, the original MAGA, America first. And I disagree with their social issues, et cetera. But that's Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tucker Carlson, Tom Massey, et cetera. And then the third bucket is Trump loyalists. The ones who say, oh, yeah, of course, everybody's eating cats and dogs. And Trump couldn't wait to release the Epstein files. And this was all a trick and a chess game and all that. Those guys are hopeless. Trump could say anything and they'll believe it. And in fact, the rest of the Trump voters are now looking.
True, man. True. It's sad, but there are look, there's a lot of people that it's just we've seen them pop up in the chat. You say you make one objective observation about Trump that is not a favorable observation, something in his favor. You're a fucking stupid piece of shit, whatever. Even though I supported him at one point.
At them, like, are you guys nuts? Like, wake up to what's going on here. The establishment is screwing us, and it turns out that Trump is part of the establishment. I don't think anyone can argue that Trump has more original pro-MAGA positions than Marjorie Taylor Greene. In fact, Piers, I did a poll on X about this. Marjorie took an 82-18 lead against Trump as the true original MAGA. And then Kat Turd and others, the Trump loyalist, comes in. They have tons of votes going for Trump. And then it went back and forth all day, 66,000 votes. And at the end, Marjorie Taylor Greene wins. Why? Because most of the people that watch online media now realize Trump is just another guy in the establishment, another elite. Okay. And he's doing the same exact thing as all the other corporate Democrats and Republicans.
Okay, Brandon, what do you think of that? Because I do think there's some merit to this. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene has been going out there and talking in a way I've never heard her talk before, and it's definitely resonating with people. I see a lot of people in the MAGA movement who actually agree with her. A lot of people don't, but I don't think Trump...
Bro, Scott Starbird, that is what I'm asking. That is what I'm asking. Cenk is the voice of reason. What the fuck is happening in this timeline? BW, I'm launching Icy Bird Coin tonight, Venmo for early access. My broke ass.
Or a traitor is necessarily going to work in the way he hopes.
Well, I disagree on that. If you look at Marjorie Taylor Greene, she switched. She did. It's not that she continued in the MAGA way. She continued with America First conservatism. She's completely switched. She was just on television saying that Donald Trump shouldn't deport all these people at one time because it hurt the people who are working on her at her company. You know, Marjorie Taylor Greene has changed her position on so many different things. She just apologized on CNN and said she's sorry for contributing to the rhetoric. Marjorie Taylor Greene, the reason she's popular is because she went against the grain. It's because she challenged people on a day-to-day basis. And now she's apologizing to CNN for it. She says Trump has accomplished nothing since he's been in office. He's completely turned on America. That is insane to me. You're talking about the border crisis that we experienced that have been matriculated throughout our society in so many negative ways. Donald Trump has brought an end to that. Ask the people who live on the border. Ask the people who patrol on the border. And then you go off into other aspects. I think he's trying to do his best when it comes to tariffs to bring revenue back into the American economy. And it's not that easy. Nobody is willing to do it. So Donald Trump is willing to do the hard thing now so we can benefit later. But for Marjorie Taylor Greene to go off the reservation to say all of these different things, this is why he called her a traitor. This is why people think that she's changed. And I would add to this, and Shank, he laments to this all the time. This has come down to Israel. It's the fact that Marjorie Taylor Greene has taken a position on Israel, and everybody that loves to hate on Israel will take her side. And Donald Trump, he's been supportive of Netanyahu. He's been supportive of things in Israel. People begin to turn on him because of that. And so it's a twofold thing. She's turned, all her values have completely changed, which is why Trump thinks she's a traitor. And the people who hate Israel is going to follow her, and the people who love Israel is going to follow a majority of what Donald Trump says.
Brian, let me just play you the apology she
it's
made.
MAGA versus MIGA.
It's
America first versus Israel first.
No, I want to play
and it's about, do we control our own government?
Okay, check. Hang on. I want to just play. Hang on, guys, please.
We control our own government. Dear God. I pray that man doesn't actually believe that. I hope he just made $7,000 saying that and does not actually believe it. Millennial Diligence. Welcome. Redacted. This whole stream needs to be redacted. Okay, so let's drop this. We get it. We get it there. Let's check out, I think the most interesting, because I did not know about this. Most interesting tidbit we got here was Cenk referencing this. So let's start at the top here. I'll read through a little bit of this because I wanted to be out of here in under 2 hours, and here we are, guys. I don't know what I was thinking, that I'd actually be off the stream early tonight, but let's do it. So from the top, Epstein, hold on a second. Let me fix the StreamYard page. We got technical difficulties here. Okay, I'm back. So Jeffrey Epstein helped Israel sell a surveillance state to, what does it say? Côte d'Ivoire? Leaked emails show the details behind talks between Côte d'Ivoire and Israel, shepherded by Ehud Barak and Jeffrey Epstein. Ooh, zesty, spicy. Jeffrey Epstein and Ehud Barak were specialists in war profiteering at the end of his tenure as Israel defense minister, and after his supposed retirement, Barak embraced a role as salesman of Israel's security services to embattled governments, opening the door for Israeli intelligence leaders to shape the security apparatuses of several African nations, including the country of Côte d'Ivoire. Quietly facilitating these efforts was Jeffrey Epstein, who died in jail in 2019. Okay, that's what it was. I knew 2017. That was way too early. I said that earlier. Okay. Epstein wrote at one point to Barak, with civil unrest exploding and the desperation of those in power, isn't this perfect for you? Barak replied, you're right, in a way, but not simple to transform it into cash flow. Transforming unrest into cash flow in the case of Côte d'Ivoire involved brokering deals between the Israeli state and the embattled West African nation. Two men worked together as a conduit for Israel's intelligence sector in Côte d'Ivoire, where Barak was welcomed as a representative of the Israeli government. Even after leaving public office, Epstein helped Barak deliver a proposal for mass surveillance of Ivorian phone and internet communications drafted by former Israeli intelligence officials. Guys, need we say more? Do I even need to read more of this? How Israeli intelligence built a police state in West Africa. Epstein, Israel, Ivory Coast. Barak has previously claimed his private investments with Epstein were conducted as a private citizen and unrelated to official Israeli state affairs. Right. The documents released by the House in October, however, suggest that Epstein played the same fixer role while Barack was still the sitting defense minister of Israel. Barack did not respond to a request for comment. Guys, how the fuck was Cenk dropping truth bombs like this just nonchalantly on Piers Morgan's show? Who the fuck does he think he is? Alex Jones? Bruh. Um. So yeah, this is just going into more detail about all, all this shit. So yeah, go check out if you want to read through more of this. It's really late. I want to get out of here, guys. I need to get out of here. But Cenk said it was a part 4. Look at how there's a lot here. Holy shit. Bro. Dude, Barack is emailing Jeffrey Epstein directly. I'm done. I've seen enough. Guys, this is why we've been having so much trouble with this. We know why now. We get it, okay? We were right from the beginning too, guys. And people try to make you feel like shit for being directly over the target. They try to just guilt trip you. It's so fucked. Bro, and do these guys, the guys that Shank, Michael Knowles, the fucking black guy who was sucking Trump off the whole time, like, are we, I mean, do we really think, maybe, I don't know about the black dude, Michael Knowles, is he actually, like, completely uninformed about that? I'm not supposed to be an actual news person. I'm just a jackhole doing a stupid live stream, okay? I'm not expected to know any of this bullshit, and I don't want to know it. Okay? But are we really going to believe? I don't know. What Michael Knowles has no idea about that connection, and no one's going to sit there and, like, Google it and look it up on their phone and say, like, argue with Cenk about it. They're just going to, I mean, that's really what we're dealing with here. They're in such denial that they're just not even going to try to debate that at all. They're not even going to Google it and try to, like, dissect Cenk's argument that this is an Israel thing because of this prior connection Epstein has to Ehud Barak and all that. They're not even going to go there. It wasn't going to happen. That there was multiple chances they would not even respond to that claim. That's where we're at, guys. That's the leading people of the talking heads, the content creators that are like pro-Trump or lean conservative. 90% of them, probably more, too scared to even touch that subject, won't even go there. It'll just completely dismantle everything in their life, their whole foundation for their little fucking show where they just lick boots. It all will just come crumbling down if you even dare to Google the thing Cenk Uygur talked about. That's how brittle their whole worldview is. They won't even address the claim that Cenk made. It is crazy times we're in. People are afraid to respond to Cenk. Crazy times. Watch Michael Knowles and some other fucking, black guy. Oh, I'm a black Trump voter. You should listen to me because I'm black and I voted for Trump. Oh yeah, let's not even like have a real debate here. Let's just suck some Trump dick. Yeah. Good times, guys. All right, I got to get out of here. I'm mad now. I got to smoke another bowl. Lovers, thank you for the support. This has been Dark Times with Dark Matt Steve. I really got to get out of here. I will see you guys. We'll be back on tomorrow. I got a lot of different stuff saved to get through tomorrow. I already mentioned what we're getting into. So yeah, I will see you guys then. What's the lineup? We got Scott Starbird tomorrow at 6 p.m. I think Alex Stein is not quite in a rotation yet still. So yeah, we're doing we got Scott Starbird at around like 6:10-ish p.m. And then yeah, I'll be on around 8 p.m. Eastern time. Oh, promo. What's up, lover? You have a good night too, lover. Thank you for the support. If you haven't already, please smash the like button. I hate to ask. Fucking hate it. All right, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Thank you all for the support. Sincerely, I appreciate it. Love ya.